In the past, we had intense debates on who the best FNAF protagonist is, but with my expertise and highly rational analysis, we reached a satisfying conclusion. And once more, we had to analyze Spin Math's ability to Tokyo Drift. And again, the conclusion was rationally satisfying. Now, with the second movie coming out, I have decided to once more solve the biggest subject of debate going on right now. A subject of great importance, as the lore cannot make sense if you don't start with this. Today we will be asking ourselves the self-reflective question, the one that will change how we view even the simplest things in life. And that question is, who is FNAF's best business owner? Now, we all know that in the FNAF world there are only 3 businesses, ever. And as much as everything depends on them, they depend on the FNAF world too. Such a parasitic, such a symbiotic relationship would require cunning genius to survive the hurricane that is this franchise. And so we bring our contestants 3, for what will they prove themselves to be is what we're all here to see. Our first look is into the newest addition to the franchise, the one whose arrival was foretold in the songs of the ancient ones. He is without a doubt a character in this franchise, and his name is... Headswing Norway is a character originally in the books that nobody read except schizophrenic conspiracists. However, the games introduce a different version of Jetspin Coldplay, and today we'll only talk about the game version. Nothing beats a Fazbear holiday like a complete buzzkill who ruins your fun. And nobody will ruin your fun time playing sports like a nerd who doesn't like them. That's right, Fed King is an absolute nerd who dislikes sports, as you can see from this clip.
Says Richard, no, not for sports use, and not for personal use either. Sports never did anything good for me, so I'm not doing anything good for sports. Wow, Edwin, fucking nerd.
Nerd ass. I'll shove him in the locker.
However, if you thought this was bad, you need to understand that he is the head of a large company that works on costumes and some robotics. Now, how do you think such a nerd owns such a company? Through effort? Of course not. We just discussed he doesn't like sports, so he wouldn't know what effort is. No, he is at that position because of nepotism. The company was originally his father's, but once he died, he took it over and forced some changes on the company. Not a good track record so far. You have to start questioning a lot of ethical issues with such an individual. After all, this affects the honest and loyal people of this company. And no better place to look than how a person treats those helpless in life. For example, babies. Babies are the future, but the future is nurtured by the past, and that is the present. So how does Led Flint Sergey treat babies?
Yeah, he's scared. He's absolutely scared.
As you can see here, he bullies babies and scares them. And what is a corporation but a baby begging to justify its existence? To work in the field of entertainment, you have to be in touch with your creative self and allow others to be as well. That's what entertains people. So what if I told you that the entertainment field was being invaded by corporate automation and creative death by the very need for entertainment and creativity? Look no further than here in the theater of bread film.
Welcome, potential investors and buyers. Are you thinking of getting into the children's television entertainment space?
Friends.
Are the costs of writers, crew, and puppeteers holding you back? Then, boy, have we got some news for you. Welcome to the MCM television studio of the future. Here, there's no need for a cast or crew.
What?
Our patented stage manager software keeps your show on track and condensed to fit your broadcast time slot, including commercial breaks.
Okay.
If writers have you blocked, use an MCM story template. Simply supply the stage manager with the desired character names, location, and genre. It writes itself. Additional story templates available for purchase. What about the talent? Well, we remove the talent. No difficult puppeteers, demanding actors, or moody directors needed. Our system is drama-free. Simply interact with the performance by shooting targets to progress the story. And of course, you'll save a fortune on production costs.
The job market is dying. Now Fled Flynn has a son. And with the father so absorbed in work, there are only so many pointless occasions he can look forward to in hopes of interacting with his father. However, even then, the heartless Nepo baby doesn't try to pretend he cares.
This is the one. Bigger than the Cleanovac.
Oh. That's great, honey, but you're missing the party.
David's 2 years old. He won't remember a thing.
Okay.
That's not the point. We have guests.
Besides, he's got plenty more birthdays.
This must be the real Fiona.
Next year will be even better.
Okay.
Well, hurry up. We're doing the cake in 5 minutes, with or without you.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how horrible he is in other occasions. As a wise 14-year-old once said, no man can tell who he is until his death. So to truly tell who Ned Simp truly was, we have to look at his death, although not technically confirmed, but likely is.
I'm sorry, M2.
Oh my god.
I lost my temper. I was always gonna fix you. Please, call for help.
Oh my god.
M2, respond.
Oh, can't right now, buddy.
What is
We can do
happening?
something fun tomorrow. I promise.
There's a whole
Ask your
story
mom
here.
if she's not busy.
What?
M2,
Bro, what? Oh no, okay, I think Edwin died.
After his horrible misdeeds catch up to him and forces onto him a life of misery that he brought upon himself, he is captured by his last so-called victim and is tortured, left only to beg for his pathetic life. A pathetic end to a pathetic man. A cautionary tale. Although I hesitated to call it a victim before, the torturer was a filthy clanker built by the Nerd King himself. As you can see throughout Secret of the Mimic, he forces the company to shift from just costumes to be a clanker factory as well, filled with clankers in every corner of the place. What's worse is that he even dedicated himself to design clanker souls and a super clanker body to hoist a homunculus of a soul he envisioned. Truly atrocious agenda. And our last point expands his clanker agenda to show how truly awful he was. After laying the foundation for the clanker replacement plan, he didn't only betray the human race by supporting and funding the enemy, he built himself a clanker wife and had sex with it. I feel sick just talking about it, but the truth must be told, and that is what I'm here to tell. The whole truth, nothing but the truth. And with that, we close off on our first political candidate. For better or for worse, that was all that could be said. I can't say that he was a good candidate. Off to the Clanker Ball torture chamber with you. With that, we go to our next target, one we are decently familiar with, one that can't disappoint us like the last one did, and he is... Fint-Free is a peculiar character that has big impact on the string of events that is the FNAF story, yet official acknowledgement of his existence is rare. So we're going to look at the facts implied to his character. For one, he is depicted as a business partner to Billiards Craftflint, meaning they both owned Fredbear's and Freddy's for a while at least. So Cleftney is a co-owner of a successful business. And looking at the one all agreed upon timeline of FNAF, the business has been winning for 20 to 30 years, with some losses here and there, but the important thing is that it stayed afloat for that long. Not to mention it got revived eventually, although likely not in the original owner's hands. Unlike Kent Slim, Sandme has care to the delicate details of the craft. He likes to create, and his creations are widely beloved, and much more iconic, timeless and overall classic. This is proof that Sentry is a far more creative person than the fraud who sews costumes. After all, Fillion is just jealous of him, not Nerd Beach. This leads us to look at how upstanding of a citizen he is, and a good morally correct person would not stand for corruption in his beloved country, and as such, would take matters into his own hands if necessary. And as we can see in the records of Clanker's sleeper agent's failed company, a person of the nickname Hen has pretended to be his friend to take him down, by bullying him and forcing changes to his commissions to exhaust his filthy corrupt money, and eventually rescuing his employees from unfair treatment by giving them a chance to quit. As we discussed before, a person's death can tell how much about the kind of man he was in life, and as we saw before, that proved to be true. So to better understand our current talking point, we have to look at his death. It begins with a plan to close the curtain on everything wrong in his company's history. He is a man of responsibility, not letting the mistakes of the past wreak havoc, taking matters into his own hands again, and a genius plan is to let the problems come to him. Hire Michael Afton. After watching my initial video of this series, he knew Michael is the man for the job, and so he gave him the task to make sure everyone is inside the labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. And once everyone is trapped, he commits arson to kill everyone inside, including himself and Michael, while giving the best speech possible for such a death. We have discussed a lot of positives, and unfortunately that doesn't mean we don't have any negatives to explore. However, keeping the positives in mind should hopefully remind you how better of a person he is than our previous suspect. So to start with, the first negative point we have is that he has been neglectful of Charlie, his daughter. And normally that might not be much of a negative depending on the child, but as you can see in these two images teased in the second movie, Charlie is an aura-farming, tough-looking child, so to neglect such a child by leaving her to be watched only by this marionette, it's not right. Now, as successful as his business was, it has unfortunately failed around 1993 or so, closing for 30 years before being opened again for his epic death, then being revived again in the hands of someone else, maybe. So as much as his success was a positive, his fail is also a negative. Despite Ben 3 being an impactful figure, he has chosen to take his leave from the story for a long time and only returning right before taking everything down with him. So his lack of presence in important points of time puts a question mark on his final score in our discussion. This concludes our second person of interest, and we must bid him farewell, for we have to speak about the man of the hour, the supposed Voldemort of the FNAF world, the one whose existence still affects the present. It is the one, the only, Sir William Afton. Our phone-holding serial killer has previously lost the main character competition fairly early, due to the fact that he was being tortured. However, we're judging his personality and lifestyle this time, so this should turn out a little differently. One known fact about Himian is that he is partners with Mintfree. Together they owned Fazbear Entertainment and made it a huge success. However, William doesn't only share success with his partner, he owned his own business, Afton Robotics, which had a rocky start with Circus Baby's Pizza Vault, but was clearly successful when it turned into an entertainment and rentals. So now Will Ian has two businesses under his belt. Our friendly, lovable goofball is not only a businessman, he also likes to dabble in mind-stimulating fields. He likes to explore and learn about new things, at times even discover unknown things to mankind. We especially see this when he encounters the paranormal, which he was eager to explore and decided to apply the scientific method in order to explain these things in very quantifiable ways. However, business and science alone are not the only things he likes to do. Growing up British, while harsh and terrible, allowed Mr. Afton to have the innate ability to entertain, as can be seen in the novels, the movie
Wake up, children! I have something for you to play with!
and Dead by Daylight.
Watch the show, everyone!
He truly is a jack of all trades. Despite being such a busy, serious person, William is not unknown to be quite a humorous fellow.
The darkest pit of hell is open for business.
He likes to joke around and have fun.
I'm the fun one.
He is no stranger to a night out on the town. When you're in Utah, don't forget to hit up the Afton household if you want to have a fun time.
I promise a fun time.
With such an amazing person, you'd feel safe and protected. You'd feel jealous of Henry to be partners with such a guy, to feel the joy of creation they must feel. However, while you'd still feel these things, we must know that even the greatest people of our time have at least a few small negatives to them. One of his is that he had a few bad run-ins with children that ended up with them passing away. It's an unfortunate negative, but it does put a dent in his score. Mr. Harleton is what you would call a family man. He had him a wife, 2 sons and a daughter, whom he loved very much and did what he could as his duty to them. However, that wasn't enough, as a busy man can only do so much, and so that ended up with him neglecting his family frequently. It's not the best trait to have, but it was to be able to provide, and a man provides. If we turn our heads to the movie, we get more personal glimpses of the man of the house, so the finer flaws are much more apparent, and this flaw is one you wouldn't expect from a successful business owner.
And you only have to worry about one thing, keeping people out. And keep the place tidy.
That's 2 things.
You had one job. One. Keep him in the dark and kill him if he got too close.
That's 2 jobs.
As we can see in these 2 examples, he unfortunately can't count. Our last point is about the creations of Mr. Crampton and the aesthetic he seems to lean towards. We know he made the fun times, which are sleek, plastic, rosy-cheeked and overall cute. And so this points us towards another series of animatronics not many fans discuss who created them. And this is topical because of the second movie. We are talking about the toy animatronics, of course. The toy animatronics seem to share the same aesthetic as the fun times, so they must be created by William Afton. And that points us to the conclusion that if William created the toys, then He created Toy Chica. So really, William Afton is the winner. Once again, I feel that we accomplished a great advancement to the human race. We looked deep into ourselves to understand the truly important things, the true qualities of an upstanding businessman in the economic maelstrom we experience in our daily lives. And now that we have reached this point, it pains me to say that we must once again part ways in search of deeper questions to answer. Now if you'll excuse me, I have some business to attend to in the local movie theater.